Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Brütal Legend. In this game, a roadie named Eddie is transported to this apocalyptic heavy metal fantasy world, populated by demons and brimstone and everything else that you can think of when it comes to a heavy metal universe. The premise is fairly straightforward. Essentially, there's a big bad demon that Eddie and friends are trying to overthrow in order to liberate the land. On its surface, it is an open world action game. It's not too large of an open world, but it still has many of the open world systems in place. You got your main quest, but you also have side quests that are scattered around. There's also little mini things that you can do as you explore, but it never got to the point of being overwhelming. It's not like an open world Ubisoft game where your map is just populated with icons and it feels overwhelming. In this case, every time you do a main quest, occasionally you might get like 2 or 3 side quests that pop up on the map, but these side quests are very short and quick and snappy. It almost respects your time a lot better than many modern open world games. Combat is fairly straightforward as well. Eddie is equipped with a giant metal axe, as you might expect, and this is where he'll do the majority of his melee attacks. And then he is also equipped with this electric guitar that you use more ranged abilities with. You're also going to be playing quick little songs on your electric guitar in order to activate certain abilities. Think something similar to Legend of Zelda, where you play the ocarina and you have to play a quick little, you have to hit the notes in the correct order in order to like activate the ability. As you go along, you will acquire a resource. You basically gain the favor of the gods, and you spend this resource at a vendor who is actually voiced by Ozzy Osbourne, and this is where you will get new combos and new abilities. This is also where you will get new upgrades for your hot rod, and this is how you navigate this open world. And that's about half, maybe 3/4 of the gameplay is driving around, attacking enemies, doing these quick little side quests. But the other half is almost like an RTS type of game. Think like a third-person Warcraft 3 in that you have this rock battle face-off against the enemy, and you can hire troops to do your bidding and guard certain key points, and you're basically trying to like build up your resources in order to build up an army to take over the enemy's main base. And so as you're playing through the game, you start liberating certain groups of characters that you can then use in this RTS mode. So for instance, the very first ally that you rescue are these headbangers, and these are like your basic melee infantry, but then you unlock these women who fire ranged guns, and as you go along you will rescue these bass players that heal your units around you. And so you are controlling Eddie, but you're also trying to like command your troops in order to take over the enemy's main base. In order to acquire the resources to hire these infantry units, you need to secure these merch booths, and these will over time incrementally give you the resources in order to supply your troops. And so on its surface it sounds kind of weird, but once you get used to it, it actually works really well. Eddie has this ability during this RTS mode where he can fly around and you can give orders to your troops, and I think this is mainly how they're trying to push the multiplayer aspect of this game. It seems like that's what the majority of like the DLC packs are for, is like new units that you can control. I didn't play around with the multiplayer mode at all, but I did have a lot of fun with the RTS mode once I got the hang of it, and once I unlocked enough units through the main game that it felt like I had a lot of choice and versatility when playing through this mode. But you know, I also just had fun just driving around as Eddie and just kicking butt. I very much appreciate the mood of this game. They take themselves seriously, but also it's just kind of over the top silly at the same time. I mean, Eddie is voiced by Jack Black, so that kind of gives you a clue into what kind of tone the game is. Think, to name Tenacious D, and you will get the picture. The soundtrack is huge, and it actually is really fun doing this battle listening to, Mastodon or Black Sabbath. It's fun driving around in your hot rod and listening to Ozzy Osbourne or Judas Priest, Motorhead. Like, just looking at this soundtrack, it just keeps going on and on and on. So you're going to be listening to a ton of different songs, which is really good news, especially if you're a fan of heavy metal. And normally these open world games aren't my favorite. I usually just tend to make a beeline straight to the main quest if I am able to. But this game, I just feel like it really respects your time more than modern open world games do. Like I mentioned earlier, the side quests take maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. The open world isn't overwhelming. Like, you could drive around the whole perimeter of this open world in maybe 5-ish minutes. It doesn't take that long. And the game itself actually isn't that long either, and so I didn't feel burnt out by the end of the game. If anything, I felt like the game ended too abruptly. As far as like the pacing of the main story goes, there were story beats that I felt like went a little bit too long and story beats that felt a little too quick. But realistically, you could do the majority of the content in this game and still roll the credits in about 20 hours, which is actually pretty awesome because it doesn't ever feel like you are wading through a ton of bloat just to artificially lengthen the game's playtime. And like I mentioned, the tone itself doesn't take itself too seriously, so it feels very much like an old school PlayStation 2 video game. It's just, you get in, you have some goofy fun, you fulfill a couple of these challenges and feel like you actually succeeded in things, and then you get out. It doesn't feel like the type of game that wants you to dump thousands of hours into it. This game wasn't the best performance-wise. I played it on the PlayStation 3, and there was certainly a chunk of jankiness, especially when you're just driving around on your hot rod. I feel like the game can't process everything in real time, and so there's definitely some stutters as you're playing through the game. The audio mixing sounds a little off too, like sometimes the background music will be way louder than the dialogue, and so you'll need like subtitles in order to actually understand what the characters are saying. There were some times when I'm doing a quest or a mission and it kind of glitches out and I can't actually complete the mission, and so I need to reset the game and just retry that mission in order to complete it. And there are times when I felt like, man, what am I supposed to be doing in order to progress? And it turns out I just needed to restart the mission. This mostly happened during missions where you need to escort your tour bus, and the tour bus doesn't progress forward like it's supposed to, even though you've defeated all of the enemies. But this being a PlayStation 3 game, I kinda give it a pass for that stuff. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this game. It certainly sets itself apart with this third-person RTS mode and even just the theming. I definitely would recommend it to people who just want to play a fun, silly game for a week or two. I think I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I think this one would definitely benefit from some sort of remaster or remake, just to fix some of the jankiness and the stuttering, but I honestly don't have a lot to complain about when it comes to this game. Well, folks, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Brütal Legend, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!
So here's the plan. We are going to ensnare the beasts in a ring of fire. Then Lita drops down on the beast from above and rides it into a cage.
What cage?
The one you're going to build.
How am I supposed to control them?
With your stubborn and forceful personality.
And then what? You'll just sweet talk them into fighting for our side?
No more questions! I can't tell you the whole plan right now, okay? You might get captured. It's for your own protection. Okay, let's saddle up!